Welcome, 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 everyone. Welcome to Simple Things Outreach Media. So much has changed around here. Look at this now. I can't even play video clips on StreamYard anymore. What's happening? What's happening? Everything has changed, and I wasn't even aware of that. So, in order to play your video clips on StreamYard, apparently you have to upgrade to the paid version, but life goes on. So much has changed on these YT streets. Almost simple as what we say pre-retirement leave. But this topic I just had to touch on. I haven't gone live on YouTube in a while. I was trying out something last week, Saturday night, but that didn't work out. I was just testing something. So much has changed around here that I have to learn again I have to bring back the YT book and see how to navigate my way around these YT streets. Because look at that. You can't play a video clip again. Why? Why? Why YouTube? Why StreamYard? I'm going to have to find a different streaming device. See what you get by upgrading. See? So you have to upgrade in order to use, to play a video clip. But as I say, life goes on. So welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Share with a friend if you can. Because this is it's a topic that I didn't want to go into. I mean, I did a live on my Facebook page on it last week, but some things have come up that I just want to express. And I'm not really the type of person to go calling into these vloggers and, leaving voice notes or that sort of thing, or go on anybody TikTok live, people I'm not familiar with and that sort of thing. So I just say, you know what? There are a few things I want to discuss. So I said, let me just jump on and we can share over here. So just share with a friend if you can, and we can jump into it. Let me just go into my studio here and make some changes. We can jump into the topic when a few more people come on. And what we're going to do is I'll drop the link if you want to come up and discuss. All right. But as I say, I have to re-familiarize myself with what goes on here in StreamYard. Everything is different. I can even the aspect ratio. Apparently, they're only doing vertical because this is 720. I can't even get the 1080p for free again in StreamYard. Everything is money. But as long as you can hear me and see me, it doesn't even matter if you can see me as much as hear. All right. So as I say, let me just go ahead and get some things set up here because everything is so different. I have to do this on my phone. So how have you all been doing? Gone are the days when we used to have our small YouTubers, our little fraternity where we used to help out each other and share with each other. Because when I saw that the young lady, the former Miss Jamaica Universe contestant who, wow, felt driven to that point. She was so possessed by such great spiritual forces, demonic forces that that really convinced her to take herself out. That was really tragic for me because I remember in our days when we were here on these YT streets, we would support each other. Even things like that would reach out to each other. People were ill, people had death in their families, even YouTubers who passed on, we would all reach out and support in one way or the other. Weddings, all sort of things. We had our link up. We just helped each other out in so many ways. But she was just so alone. It was just hard to see her, the way she put out everything out there, and it's as if no one reached out to her. It was after everything and the news broke, that's when people started, her video started going viral. I mean, she was there for quite a while and no one really paid her any mind. But God is able. God is able. So share with a friend. I think I pretty much have what I had. Yeah, what I needed to do back here. I pretty much have that done. So how are you all doing out there? Welcome again. There are a few things I want to look at regarding this Jayden Smith case, but I decided that this might be a better way than trying to reach out to these vloggers or so. So feel free to put your comments in the comment section. If anyone want to come up a bit later on, you can come on the screen and share. You know, I'll drop the link, and anyone who wanna just pop up, you can come up and put in your 2 cents as I try to put in my 2 cents. So just give your thoughts in the comment section as we go along. Let me see who is there. Welcome everyone. Welcome. I decided not to do this on Facebook. I've started doing my live on Facebook once per week. And I said, you know what? Let me come on YouTube and just share what I think are some missing pieces of evidence that I really don't hear anyone so far stressing. A few persons have mentioned it, but I don't think they've explored it quite well enough. I've listened to some of those quote unquote court cases on TikTok. Not on TikTok. I downloaded TikTok, but I never really used it. But you know, I listen when the YouTubers include those in their vlogs, and you know, pretty much a lot of people have handled the evidence so well, and I'm wondering why isn't the JCF doing more in terms of their interrogation? They're searching, but how are you searching before you even interrogate? That's what I'm thinking. As far as I know, and what I see over here and in other places, when cases like these, the main suspects are those, you know, like how we would say the enemies within. The main suspects are those in the household. And especially for somebody who is underage, under the care of adults, that's where they'd start. That's where you'd look from. So I can't understand why JCF hasn't been doing this. Everybody else is doing this, is just breaking things apart, tearing things apart, and trying to put back the puzzle together. So what is the JCF lacking? Why they're not doing that? Common sense? Or what? Is there something that we don't know that they know? You know, we're not the experts here. But most times what I find, you know, is that the man on the ground, so to speak, even with news, even with the media, because I mean, in general, the media is sort of programmed to filter out the news and just to, because they have to corroborate and verify and make things credible. They filter out so much. So in the end, they really just give you what they want you to hear or what they want you to believe. But the man on the ground is just gonna tell it as it is. You understand? And also, what I find and what you'll notice is that when things like these happen, normally that first statement, that first thing that someone says is normally the truth, because you don't get any time to pre-think, so to speak, and to work it through your brain. If they ask me such and such, what am I gonna say? You know, I taught GED for over 7 years. And I used to say to my students, because over here is mainly multiple choice, in most exams, right up to the highest level is mainly multiple choice. So what I normally tell my students is that the first, if you don't know the answer, your brain works in such a way that the first thing that comes to your mind is normally the correct thing. So if you don't know your answer, a lot of times when I'm marking papers, I look and I realize that students erase the correct answer and change their answer because they weren't sure. And even me myself, maybe even you when you're taking exams, when you get back your paper, you realize that, oh my God, I should never have changed number 5 from A to D because A was the correct answer. Whenever you're not sure, that's just how our brain works. So that's the same thing in a case like this. Normally, what the report that the person gives first in that first interview or whatever, before they get a chance to corroborate and say, make up story or whatever, it's like, oh my gosh, that's just your natural reflex. What is just naturally in your head is what is going to come out. But when you give people so much time to go knock heads together and make plans and go back and listen to, especially now with the advent of so much technology, everything is recorded and you remember, oh, I went back and listened to such and such a channel or such and such a TikToker and realized that I said such and such, I shouldn't have said such and such. And you start changing your story. The more you go along, the more you change your story. That's why when investigators are investigating, sometimes for hours, they'll just sit there for hours, 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 and just throw the questions at you. They'll stop, they'll take a break, they'll say nothing and just watch you get agitated because your natural instinct, that's just how God made us, just naturally. And they'll repeat the questions, repeat the question. They'll ask you the same questions. Every few minutes, they'll ask the same question. So, did you say that your son was at the hospital that night? And you're gonna get upset, but I just answered that. But it doesn't matter because it's just the way the brain works. So the investigator is trying to see whether you're gonna change your story, and he'll ask you 2, 3 more questions, and then he come back. Was your son at the hospital that night? And that sort of thing. So that is what I'm disappointed with the JCF with in Jayden's case, in not doing this sort of investigation. I don't see why it should be that the TikTokers only are the ones who are doing hours and hours of this sort of investigation. And the JCF, as far as I know, apart from maybe going up to the house and talking with them, I don't see they call anybody in for questioning. When when news breaks of something like this, you always look within. You always start with the householders. You understand? So that is basically what I'm disappointed in. And I'm watching to see how long is the JC. Are they going to wait until these people get a chance to? And I'm not here condemning anybody because I can't be the judge. I can't be the juror. I can't judge. So I wouldn't want anybody to be watching this and thinking I'm judging. And even with the vloggers and the YouTubers, let's not say they're judging. I don't know the people. Most of them don't know these people. So we're not judging the person. We're judging based on the evidence. Now, I've heard some of them who are really good at I hear like J Progress, who is so good at just breaking things down. He could be correct, but hey, he could also be wrong. But just the way he breaks things down and analyze it, I'm really impressed. And I'm seeing some things that I didn't see before by just listening to people like him and some others. And one thing I would say to the TikTokers, welcome, welcome, welcome. You can drop your thoughts in the chat. You can type in the chat, say hello, let me know who is there. You understand? I don't deal with ghosts over here. Please. I hate to be thinking that I'm just sitting with people who are not, I don't know who you are. I don't need to know who you are, but I just need to know you're there. I see you're there. So you can just drop a comment. Just say hi, and I'll say hi back. All right? If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please do so that you can participate in the chat. And I'm going to drop the link, the StreamYard link, a little later on if you want to come up and share your 2 cents. You don't have to show your face. If you don't want to, you can type a different name, that sort of thing. But it's just that you'll have to open your camera first when you're backstage in order for the host to allow you up. Yes. So, but just one word of advice to the TikTokers. Obviously, you're far better at this than I am. I really wouldn't have the time to sit down and listen to all these things and piecing things together. And I don't know these people. I'm just a small YouTuber, so my channel is not as active as it used to be. So they wouldn't be coming on my live stream. So that I understand. But one thing I'd like to ask you, investigators don't call all the suspects together in the same interrogation. You can't have auntie and cousin on the live at the same time. So what I would say, I don't know the names of these TikTokers because as I said, I downloaded the app, but I'm really not on TikTok. And I really don't go on TikTok. The spirit behind TikTok lately is just not my type of thing. You understand? But one thing I'd say, when you're doing your live stream, Miss Brown, hi, and welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you? How are you? It's been ages, you know. I know you're not just like myself. You don't have the time anymore, but thank God you're here. Don't get auntie and cousin and everybody on the same live stream to give them time to back up each other. One over here doing a live at the same time somebody else should be doing a live and have the other family member over there. No. So the fingers are pointed at the family members. On one hand, we could say, is there a cover up? Could the real culprits or the real story be something totally different from what we are all thinking? And we're here just focusing on the family. That's one thing. On a larger scale, also, I'd like to say, is there something in the air? Why, even I've noticed, even on an international scale, whenever something major, whenever there's going to be a turning point in a nation, in the world, in prophetic history or whatever, the devil always has it in such a way that something always comes up on the local scene to occupy the minds and the attention of the people. Not all my Christian, let me see what Miss Brown is saying here. Not all my Christian walk have me on different path, but always good to see you and others. So great, my dear. That is such a blessing. I'm so proud. So proud to hear that. God is good, right, Miss Brown? God is good. I hope you and your family are doing good. And thanks for stopping by. And anyone else who is back there, please just come forward and say hi. Right. So before I go into Jayden case itself, what is it? You understand? What is it on the bigger picture that's happening in Jamaica? You understand why the devil would have it so much that in such a way that so many of these things are popping up to distract. I call it a distraction, not because the individuals are not important. Yes, they're extremely important. All these things are critical. But when I say distract, I mean on a grander scale, the bigger picture, something is happening in Jamaica. You understand? Something is about to happen, or something is happening behind the scenes. Why? The former Miss Universe, I can't remember. I always say Tanya, but I don't think her name is Tanya. Since her time coming down, the mass shooting in Linstead area. Now we have last week, it was like 4 missing children, including the poor little young girl who the dad was oh my God, the dad was the devil behind it all. And it's just one after the other, one after the little teen, 13-year-old and their little young baby. No, just since yesterday, 2 policemen, 2 police, a policewoman, I think, and a policeman, plus the U.S. student, plus so many things are happening since election. And I'm not tying it with election, but I'm just using election as a turning point because that's like the major thing. No major holidays are so since, as far as I can remember. So why is it that all of a sudden all these things are happening and everybody is looking and all this sort of news, especially with this poor little boy, Jayden? What is the bigger picture? What are we being distracted from? Something major, Jamaica? Something major is happening behind the scene or about to happen? And I can tell you, I'm not a prophet, but because a prophet is not someone who just claims that God tell them this or tell them that. But I'm a student of prophecy, meaning I study Bible prophecy and I see the parallels and the patterns. Whenever something major is about to happen, something always happens on the local scene. And you can go back to like the plagues of Egypt, all right? While Egypt was there being quote unquote distracted, and yes, all these plagues were the hand of God for a reason, but they were being quote unquote distracted by all these plagues one after the other, that they didn't see the bigger picture. Although Moses told them, let my people go, they couldn't see the bigger picture, that behind it all, God was about to deliver his people from Egypt. You understand? So at every point, and coming down to our time, in Matthew 24, the first thing Jesus told them when he was going to give them his disciples the sign of the end, he said, take heed that what? No man deceives you. Miss Brown says, it's a lot of things going on here in Mandeville. So many things, my dear, and you wonder, what Mandeville? Why Mandeville? What is happening in Mandeville? Why all these things are happening? What is it about Manchester? As far as I know, Manchester is a quiet, upscale, place with a little more affluent citizens and some very good learning institutions, some very nice houses, and people just live a basically decent life in Manchester. Let's agree, more than most of the parishes. Manchester is like a little bit more decent lifestyle. So why all of a sudden all these things, right? So coming back now down to our time in prophetic history, Jesus told them the first thing, Matthew 24, Luke 21, and Mark 13, I think. Take heed that no man deceive you. And then he went on to tell them the signs of the time. So there's always going to be some sort of deception. There's always going to be something happening on the local scene to take our eyes off the bigger picture. Jamaica, there's a bigger picture behind everything that's happening. Take it from Mommy Simple here. You can tell everyone you heard it over here. Mommy Simple is I'm not giving out a warning, but I'm just giving out a caution that let us pray and ask for discernment. Let us ask for discernment. We can't just live anyhow and do any and everything and go against God's will and break his commandment and expect that he's going to give us discernment. That's not how it works. You understand? But if you know you're living within God's will, let us pray for Jamaica. Ask for discernment for God to show us what is happening. What is happening behind the scenes? What is the bigger picture? What is about to break on Jamaica? Why all these things suddenly are happening? Everything, everybody's mind on everybody's lips is just Jayden Smith, who unalive themselves, who is missing, who is this, who is that, mass shooting, whatever. You understand? Case in point, no more recently, COVID-19. Did you see the number of things that happened? There was I don't like to call his names because I don't venerate people by calling them their name unless it's something positive. You understand, something godly. But remember, George Floyd and all that broke out. You understand? While there was a major shift in not just this country. People would think, put the cart before the horse and say all of those things that were happening is what caused the shift. But no, when you study the Bible, you realize it's the other way around, because there's going to be a turning point or a major shift. That is why things happen on the local scene. So while everybody was there protesting and doing this and doing that, the number of things that happened, the number of things that changed in the cultural scene, education, the political scenes, the number of rights that were taken back, all of that sort of thing. So pay attention, Jamaica. I'm just giving a word of caution. The US student too. She's a principal's daughter. Oh, really? Yes, I mentioned it. I even have the little thing. Police probing suspected suicide of US student. I have it on my thumbnail. Yes. It's just so much. I didn't know she was associated with Manchester any at all. You understand? So perhaps we need to stop and look and ask God to show us what is it about Manchester. And not just Manchester, because sometimes it can be something good as well as something bad, as I mentioned with the plagues of Egypt. The bigger picture was something good. God was about to deliver his people. But sometimes it can be something bad, like I said, during COVID-19 times. Even like with 9/11. With 9/11, so we had like the passing of the Patriot Act. So many things that happened that affected the Constitution since then. It's like a major, major turning point in this country and even in the world. So let us not just have our visors on like a horse that came in a spark and just look at these cases only. But let us ask God to show us the bigger picture. That being said, I want to welcome you all. Welcome, share with the link if you can. A little later on, I'm going to put the StreamYard link if you want to come up on stage. You don't have to show your face. You'll have to open your camera in order for me to add you to the stream, but you don't have to show your face. All right. So, as I said prior, I don't know the family, so I'm not judging the family, but I'm just looking at some of the evidence. And I think there are some major pieces of evidence that basically no one is paying attention to right now. All right. Everybody's fingers are pointed at the family. And as I say, could be that this is a major distraction too, and that the culprits or whatever is unfolding is something different. I mean, in this specific case, I'm not talking about the large scale global scene. No, I'm just talking specifically of Jayden's case. But there are a few questions we need to examine. I don't have the answers for these questions, but I want us, I'm imploring you, my viewers and subscribers, to consider some of these questions because the math not mathsing at all. The math just isn't mathsing. And those are some of the things I'm going to look at here today. As I say, I don't have the answers. If you have the answers, please, you can share it in the chat or you can come up. Even if you're watching this after, you can go ahead and share. So thanks for coming and welcome, Miss Brown. Welcome everybody who is back there. You can just type in the comment section, subscribe if you're new. Forgive me for my screen. I didn't know that you StreamYard, the streaming device I use, you can no longer get the aspect ratio to fit the entire screen. That's why you see the pictures are like this. And I just added the thumbnail right here to pick up the other part. You can only do what we call vertical. You can't do this anymore. This is 1080p and that fits the entire screen. But no, I thought the vertical was only on mobile devices, but no, I realized that it's on computer and laptop as well, on all devices. The 1080p is the paid version. Me not subscribe to StreamYard when we can get it for free. But I'll try to find, if I'm going to do more live stream going forward, I'll try to find another, maybe restream or something else. But Mommy Simple sort of retire from YouTube in a sense, no, from the live streams. So, but I just had to jump on to address this. All right. If you're coming from my Facebook page, welcome. I looked at a few of these evidences last week when I did my live on Facebook, but I didn't get a chance to do a Facebook live this week. All right. So the first thing we want to look at, we heard a lot of let me pick this up here. A lot of news clips. I mainly get mine from the internet, to be honest, or not. To be honest, that's mainly where I get most of mine from, because I find that the mainstream media isn't covering this thing as much as isn't covering this thing as much as the vloggers and the social media. So basically, this case is being tried on social media every day. So I'm going to share this little clip for you and then look at the first question that we want to look at. All right, so let me go ahead and share this news clip. Okay, share screen. I haven't done this in a while, Miss Brown. All right. So I'm just going to share it here. This is from, what is it called? Juba Upon the Ends. I think the very first time this broke is from Juba Upon the Ends is from his channel. I heard it. So let's just go ahead and listen to. And what he was doing was just repeating news as part of the news reports. So I'm going to pick it up here, and then we'll look at something that a lot of people, I don't hear many people addressing. Maybe like this is good. Let's go.
He was waiting for a cousin. However, according to his aunt, that cousin had not attended school that day and was unaware of any such plans. Later reports claim that Jayden was seen walking with another student and a woman passing by Master Mac supermarket on Friday afternoon. Neither the woman nor the other student has been identified, and there have been no confirmed sighting since.
Okay, you heard that, people? Let's go back. Let me just repeat this part. Welcome, welcome, welcome to my live stream. Let me repeat this part for you.
He was waiting for for a cousin. However, according to his aunt, that cousin had not attended school that day and was unaware of any such plans. Later reports claim that Jayden was seen walking with another student and a woman passing by Master Max supermarket on Friday afternoon. Neither the woman nor the other student has been identified, and there have been no confirmed sighting since.
Okay, Stam fam. I'm not gonna look at who was the cousin because several vloggers have looked at that, several TikTokers have looked at that, who was the cousin that Jayden was seen with, right? So what I'm considering now is more like, who is the other student and the woman. I don't hear many people addressing that. In the chat, if you have any feedback or any thoughts on that, please share in the comment section, whether you're on the live now or you'll be watching this later. Why hasn't anybody mentioned who is the woman? And then for those of you who are from Mandeville, it's been years since I've been into Mandeville town. The supermarket that was mentioned, I'm not sure. They mentioned Mega Mart, about the camera picking up Jayden leaving through the back entrance or the back exit, whichever, of Mega Mart. This supermarket that was mentioned. And this video here is one of the first videos that I've seen, that I when the news just broke. I think this is either the first or the second video the same weekend that I've watched. And I've gone back into my YouTube history to see subsequent videos. And I hardly hear anybody mentioning this supermarket. So was this one of the prankster, or was it true? And if it's true, how come nobody's saying who was the quote unquote woman that Jayden was seen with leaving that supermarket or walking outside of the supermarket? Where were they headed to? Why hasn't the identity based on the news report is unconfirmed? And as I said, this is Juba Pandeyans, give him his credit, right? But he's reading from news articles. So, right? So I can say news reports are that neither the student nor the woman is identified. So who is this mystery woman? And why is nobody talking? Why isn't the family trying to find out who this person is? Why isn't the family trying to find out who this woman is and what the woman knows? So to me, if that is true, if it is true, and if it can be confirmed, if the police can confirm that Jayden was seen with another student and a woman, why isn't the police trying to come? Cameras are all over the place these days, Safety cameras are all over the place. So just like how they could go back and watch the Mega Mart one and whatever. And the next thing I don't want to mix up everything in one. But I heard a family on one of these TikTokers, and the cousin said they saw the Mega Mart. And how come, if you have an active investigation, JCF, come, JCF, come into my office. If you have an active investigation, how can the family, who is supposed to be suspects as well, not because we're saying they did it or they did anything or they know anything, but the main fact that a little boy this age, 12 years old, is missing, the home, the people in the household are the first suspect. How can the family have access to Mega Mart camera? How can the police be texting the mother? She say she get text from the police station from must be the investigator. What kind of foolishness is that to go with Jamaica? This day too modern, day and age too modern for them type of something. That can be right. So what kind of compromising of the investigation is going on now? I hear the uncle say in one news clip that, or was it the aunt? I don't want to pick on people too much because sometimes my head I get hold now. So I must confess that my head mix up because some of the things that when me hear, me not hear nobody I follow up on. So I must me I hear doubles. As I say, I went back into my YouTube watch history to try to listen back to some of these videos to see what I made it here. Oh, they're gonna say, oh, if them come up here again, that was after the first search, I guess. If them come up here again, me willing to carry them in the backyard or in the yard or whatever, or round about go search. You can't be unwilling to allow them to search. They have a right to. All right. With or without search warrant, I don't know. Me don't know the ins and outs of criminal investigation. And me no watch a lot of CSI and some people. But you can deny them access if they're going to the proper channel. So what is being covered up? You understand? Although I don't think Rona back or anything right now, because this gone far. I was watching yesterday. Welcome for those who are just coming in. Exactly, Miss Brown. I was watching yesterday with this guy I want to call Emperor because I don't celebrate people of Jamaica too much. Me not really celebrate people, me celebrate God. You understand? But he did a very good little walkthrough, and it's not the first I'm seeing him doing like things like this. I don't follow him, but I found the thumbnail and the topic on a particular video very interesting, and I said, let me watch it. And I saw he did a like retracing the steps, which is how me know you recreate the crime scene. Not so even if you watch CSI or any LAPD and whatever them used to name back in my days. Isn't that how you do it? You recreate the crime scene and try to see, retrace the steps so you can go back to the starting point and know how to go forward. So it's not even a backyard thing anymore. Is like is our on the property, the premises is like this thing has gone further away. Whatever happened, wherever, because I was holding out hope for Jayden. But from I watched the first video, I think the first video I saw was that Saturday night when I came in from church. That's when I just heard about this case. And I said to myself, well, it's too early to say who do it, but the family knows something. And up to that point, Saturday night, there was no mention of the cousin who fly down. So my second question would have been, which cousin was he waiting on? They say it's not the young boy. I don't want to call his name really because he's underage, and I'm not over here trying to slander anybody. So the cousin whose name begins with D, up to this point now, they say it's not him. Why didn't he go to school the Friday? Why wasn't he in school that Friday? I don't know if he went to Manchester. I don't think it's Manchester High because based on everything, I think he must be in a different school or something. He's the older cousin. But from the start, I said this cousin knows something. The family knows something, but this cousin seemed to be more involved with whatever happened. Who knows? Remember, Jayden is not around, and I'm still holding out hope for the sake of this young man and his family. Jayden is no longer around in the picture, not saying he's unalive. In Jesus' name, I pray he's still alive and safe somewhere and maybe just laughing at us and say, watch them and look for me and watch me. I watch them, I watch them, I watch me. As the little song did go, right? But, so Jayden cannot give his side of the story. So everything we're hearing now is from the family. You understand? We heard from the principal of the school, which is good, but the principal of the school can only give an account up to the point where Jayden went through the gates of Manchester High School that Friday evening. The teachers, the students, they said he left in a happy mood. He was in high spirits that day. And I'd imagine when you were young and you hear that your cousin coming from foreign, of course you're happy, especially if you live good together. Any member of your household coming from foreign, and it wasn't just about the suitcase and the barrel and the Irish Spring soap or whatever, but you look forward for when people coming down, even though it's an emergency case. So we can understand. I would say that's why he's happy. He was happy that day at school. But looking at Jayden and everything in a one, do you all the pictures I've seen, which is just mainly this picture? I don't know whether there are other pictures. Can't you all see the sadness in Jayden's eye? I've been saying it from the very first video that I ever watched and commented on. All that the family is saying about this boy being treated. I don't want to accuse anybody or misjudge them, judge them wrongly. But does this look like a happy boy to you? Maybe he's happy at school. He could be happy that particular day because his cousin was coming down and whatever. Now they're saying that he was told that a cousin, which cousin we don't know, was gonna pick him up. Phones are not allowed at Manchester High, as far as I hear. So Jayden didn't have a phone with him. So all of these plans must have been made from before about 6 o'clock when he left home. The step uncle, that's how it goes, step uncle, right? The auntie husband said he dropped him off wherever to get his taxi. Apparently he runs taxi as well. I don't know the area that well. So I don't want to misquote or misjudge. So it could be that that Jayden was just happy that day because his cousin was coming. But based on what I've heard about Jayden being the number one PEP student from Beth Arbor, that's how you pronounce it, primary school. Imagine school just start. This is just October. School started what, the second or the first week of September, and Jayden is already in the cadet. Jayden is already been an outstanding student at school. So school is his happy place. He's an overperformer. I hear the aunt said that when she took him, is it 5 years ago or when he was 5? Correct me if I'm wrong. He was part of the thing too. He wasn't going to school and that sort of thing. But apparently he's an overachiever. He's a very good student, and school is his happy place. So he was very happy that Friday. Maybe he's happy every day at school because this is where he gets away from whatever is going on in that home. Right? Based on the evidence, I don't think Jayden was happy at home. And Jayden's face is not the face of a happy child. You can see it in his eyes. The eyes don't lie, you know. The eyes are a window to the soul. The Bible said, let your eyes be single. When you go to the doctor, especially first time before all these machines, MRI, and all these different scans, the first thing the doctor used to do, you know, open, look, they still do it now, but look in your eye. All right? Two things, your eyes and your blood tells what's going on in your body. All right? These are not the happy eyes of the eyes of a happy 12-year-old. There's so much sadness. There's so much pain. Unless something was wrong that day when he took this picture that I have on the screen, which is a picture that most people have. So family, if you have some happy pictures of Jayden, please send them out there. Because we, the public, don't see a happy child. Me not apologizing, me not sorry, but the eyes don't tell that he's happy. That's exactly what I'm saying, Miss Brown. That kid's eyes are so sad. You can see the pain. You can see something hidden. And it's not just a little one day sadness, you know. You wake up this morning and you were crying over something, and you know, but the pain is deeply buried. This, you know, most times when you just start school, plus you just started high school, most of us as parents, we take a picture that morning. This might have been a first day, first morning, first evening, first week, or whatever picture. This don't look for a child who is so bright, the outstanding student, top student at his primary school, just starting school. You'd have seen it. It looks so neat, well put together, has good shoes, good, you know, uniform, and nice backpack and whatever, book bag, knapsack, whatever we want to call it. But him not look happy at all. There's so much pain and sadness hidden in his eyes. So that comes back to my question now. I already mentioned, which cousin was he waiting on? Several vloggers already mentioned that, and they are the top people in this case, on these cases. So I'm not going to go into that over here again, because we've all looked at that before. But the next question, the next piece of evidence that we are missing, my people, why wasn't Shanique mentioned any at all? All right. When the news broke about Jayden going missing, why was there no mention of that cousin? It was after she flew back to the States. I don't know which state she's from. Somebody said Carolina, whether North Carolina or South Carolina, I don't know. But it was actually after she flew back before. If you have heard any, as I say, if I'm wrong, I always say questions, criticisms, concerns, corrections, clarifications, queries, anything. I love the feedback. So if I'm wrong, correct me. But I don't see anywhere. Sorry. Sorry, may I drink Walmart taste bad water. I don't see anywhere where there was a mention of this cousin in the sense that no word from her or nothing before she flew back, right? Then after she came on the scene, so to speak, after she got involved in the narrative, everything changed. Everything changed. The aunt that was so sad before when you saw her first interview, the uncle, everybody who looked so sad in that famous picture, that first picture that came out, suddenly the aunt is becoming defensive. There's no pain or no sadness in her eyes anymore. You understand? At first, you wouldn't believe that it wasn't her child. To me, what I saw at first was the natural reaction of not deep grief where you're ready to cry, because when bad things happen, your first reflex is like you turn full. So you don't really know how to react as yet. That's just natural. That's just reflex. So of course there's grief, but at first you're holding out hope and all of that. So to me, her reaction at first was natural. But after her daughter, which is the little boy who was injured, mom, who is a cousin to Jayden, because Jayden is the son of this lady's twin brother. So this lady, who is called Anne Marie, she is the grandmother of the little baby who was injured. She is the mother of the daughter, who is Shanique, who is the cousin who came down from foreign. So he and his sibling, she and her siblings are cousins to Jayden. Lord have mercy. Yeah, but you don't get the picture because you're already, if you're watching this, I'm almost sure you're already familiar with the story, all right? So, why wasn't Shanique mentioned before? And listen, don't overlook this, because not many people are stressing this either. When I hear the TikTokers dissecting this and trying, the informal court cases that they have on TikTok, we used to do that sort of thing over here on YouTube years ago during the pandemic. So remember, the young lady said her intention was to come down and someone would meet her at the airport, Sangsters International, Montego Bay Airport, Mobile Airport, and she meet her with the baby and she go right back. And I can understand, right? Because for those of you who live in first world countries, places like Canada, the US, England, and whatever, honestly, and I'm Miss Brown or anybody else, I'm not bashing anybody, so don't feel bad, but it's just the fact. When you're familiar with the hospital system here and you come down to Jamaica, you don't want your loved ones. My sister just passed away in Andrews Memorial, which is perhaps the best hospital in terms of care and, you understand, facility. Not nowhere near the best in terms of machinery and that sort of equipment, because they really don't have the equipment. But I heard they said this lady is a nurse. And from the first interview I heard her give when she said he broke his femur, I'm like, this is not just an ordinary person. This is an educated person and she might be in the medical field, because she'd have just said in foot broken, hip broken, bone broke, whatever. You understand? But the way the terms she used, people in the medical field don't use the everyday terms like we. Just like our police when they're giving a report, he escaped in nearby bushes. That's just an aside, but they have the language, the lingua of police investigation. That's how people in the medical field over here are, especially, they don't use the ordinary lingo. They use the lingua of the medical field. So I realized that this lady might be in the medical field, and I think they've confirmed that she's a nurse. You understand? So, of course, when you work in hospitals where everything is perfect, honestly, Jamaica medical system seem like a joke. You're not going to have your 2-year-old, and some people are saying negative things about this, but I'm just here to confirm that if you live up here, if you work in the medical field, especially, if you've ever been hospitalized, if you've ever visited anyone in the hospital, if you've ever been to the hospital for treatment or anything, you're not going to have your family member or your child, especially a child who was born here. You're not going to want them to go through the medical system in Jamaica. You're going to want to take them back. But she wanted to take her child back with the broken bones, because her intention, she said, I heard her on a live stream, and she said she didn't intend to come to Mandeville. Her intention was for somebody to meet her at the airport in Montego Bay for her to take her baby back. But if she's really a nurse, and I think they're concerned that she's a nurse, she would know that before the child being attended to, or at least stabilized, how are you gonna fly that little 2-year-old baby back? And I don't know where she's from, but they say one of the Carolinas, whether North Carolina or South Carolina. Montego Bay is now a hub, so it might very well be. I don't know if there are straight flights to North or South Carolina from the Bay. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's only once I've ever used Montego Bay Airport. I never like it. It's a poor excuse of an airport, but people say they love it. I don't know. But it's a hub, so you can get to more places than you can from Kingston. So I don't know if they do have straight flights, because more and more, a lot of people are living, especially in North Carolina. A lot of Jamaicans are living there. So, but if not, it might be 2 flights. You might have to fly to Miami and then. So that's going to take her a while. I'd imagine if it's a straight flight to North Carolina, it should be just over 2 hours, I'm thinking. If she has to connect, then it's going to be maybe like double the time. Hardly anybody's going to leave 1 hour in between connecting flights. So let's put it at 4 hours or more with a broken limb that hasn't been treated. So for somebody who's in the medical profession, as they say, I can't see how she would think that way. But of course, when I came down and saw my sister in Andrews, the first thing I called my sisters back in Canada and say, I'm not leave her down here. I cannot. Because when I walked in, first thing, she was in such advanced stage of her illness. And the oxygen was there, but it's just the little one where you just put the little tube to your nose. No machine, no nothing. I'm like, no, I can't leave her. And immediately we started looking about air ambulance, whatever. So in the case of, because he's just 2 years old, he's a baby, I don't know if they'll consider it critical enough for him to have to fly back on a air ambulance, or whether the hospital could stabilize him and clear him for travel, for commercial travel. Air ambulance not cheap. It's upwards of 25,000 US. It's not cheap. I don't see, and I can't judge, of course, but I don't see anyone willing to put up 25,000 US or more. Air ambulance within 25 minutes, as long as you get the documents from the clearance from the receiving hospital. You have your travel documents and everything. He's a US citizen. She took him down, she said, because her husband is in the military and he's away. I don't know if she means on base or if he's deployed. I don't know, right? And she has another, I think it's one other child. I don't quite remember, but there's at least another child in the picture. So the main thing she says, because I think she even used the word stressed, correct me if I'm wrong, as I said, but the main thing she says, because basically I'd say, I know how it is with 2 children in this country. It's hard to manage. And especially if your husband isn't around, you don't have another family member. So she took the baby down. That's what most people do. Until the baby is ready. Not most, but a lot of people. Until the baby is ready to start school, pre-K or whatever, you take them back home to their country. where Africans especially do that a lot. Africans actually they don't come back till like college. But you take them back where they can get help that frees you up because childcare is extremely, extremely expensive in this country. And it's very hard to find good daycare service or nannies in your home. You hear the horror stories so many times. You really don't want that if you don't have to. So I can understand why she took him back. But I don't see, even with a nurse earning, some nurses, most of them doing 4 12-hour shifts these days, which to me is extremely stressful. Especially if they work in in ICU, in ER, in certain units, I can see how they manage. Honestly, hats off to you. I'm not a nurse and I couldn't be a nurse. I've worked in the hospital. I work in the hospital, but for 12-hour shift. Did I say 24-hour before? If my tongue slipped, that was just a slip of the tongue. For 12-hour shifts. So that's extremely stressful, especially when you have small kids. Your husband is away in the military, whether deployed or on base, I don't know. All right. But gone are the days I understand where you could, have a side job at another hospital. I've known people who have worked in 2 hospitals at the same time and end up taking home 6-figure, because nurses, believe it or not, the work is hard up here, but they do get very good pay. And those who can double up or get extra shifts, believe me. But I don't see somebody putting up upwards of 25,000 US to get that child back. And it's not like the child is dying or is something critical to get the child back on an air ambulance. And I don't see any hospital clearing that child for travel in the condition he was in. Right? But her intention was someone to meet her at Mobile Airport with the baby and take the baby back for treatment. And as I said, I can understand because of the difference in medical care. And I'm stressed that's not what this live stream is about, but Jamaica medical system is a big joke. Anybody who's familiar with other places can tell you that I don't know how to sit down and put up with it and don't hold the government accountable, because they can do much better and they need to do much better. You understand? She didn't say get him to Children's or something, but I listened something where they took him to Hargreaves at first. And this was them speaking themselves. I think it was the aunt that said that about taking him to Hargreaves first. But then apparently they don't, because we've seen it several times. Private hospitals don't deal with emergencies of certain nature. A private hospital does not have an ICU, intensive care. And I remember some years ago when it was a US student too who passed off at Andrews. It was a big stink. But let's be clear. Private hospitals do not have an intensive care unit. My son was born at Andrews Hospital way back. He's now 24. And that was the first thing they told me when I went to register, that if there is an emergency, we'll use the ambulance to transport you to Jubilee, and you have to sign to say, yes, you're willing. So me sign and then me pray say there's no emergency. I said to the doctor, that's not going to happen. Don't worry yourself. God not going to make that happen. But if it's, I don't think this was a critical case. I'm not a health professional, but I don't think it was critical enough for that. But whatever the emergency at Hargreaves, apparently they weren't able to deal with it. So she took him to Mandeville Hospital. That's what the aunt had said initially. I don't hear much people talking about that anymore, but I don't think that has much to do with the case. All right. They didn't take him to Children's, but he's now at St. Anne's Bay. I don't know if he's been discharged as yet, but he ended up at St. Anne's Bay Hospital. And I think I heard that the mother said, Shanique said, I think it's the father, the other side of family. She mentioned something about the other side of family. So maybe that's where they're from. But anyway, I don't think that much has as much to do with the case. But what I'm saying, why is it that is afterwards we start hearing about the mother? Is after she come down, she go back she come down whatever time the Friday when the little boy was in the hospital, Jayden was at school, and she went back the Saturday, they said. All right, so she just spent a day, which you can understand. If she's a nurse, as they say she is, she might not get any time off like that. So she probably could switch. I don't even know if they can switch shifts anymore, or she just get 1 day emergency and something, that sort of thing. So she went back. So during that time, if you notice, the picture that I have on the screen is from her interview. She did an interview, the picture I have of her, where she was a clear in the air interview. And I don't think that video came out until after she went back. But when you look on her background, I could almost swear I saw breadfruit tree. No breadfruit, no grower in North Carolina or South Carolina. The only place breadfruit grow in the US, as far as I know, is here in Florida, some places. Way down in South Florida. You're not gonna get that way up. You understand? Maybe like Jacksonville going up because of the weather. So the more tropical climate. North and South Carolina, which they say that's where she is. That's what someone said. I'm not sure. I didn't hear that from her or the mom. Breadfruit no grow there. I must swear it's breadfruit tree I see in her background. But I didn't see this clear the air video come out until after she said she had returned. They said she had returned to the US. So, and notice body language, people. Notice body language. You understand? They have something in linguistics called neuro-linguistic programming. And I see a lot of that in this girl. She's very smart. She's very smart. She seems to be educated based on her speech, and she's very smart. She know how. I have a bachelor's in linguistics, so I know a little bit about these things, right? If you watch her body language and you listen to her when she talks, she uses her speech in a programming way. If you notice her body language in that video, she was hardly making eye contact. If you record in a front-facing camera video, normally you look up sometime and you look all over, but mostly you look into your camera, don't it? It's mainly in your camera you're looking. Why did this thing switch around? But in that video, she wasn't often making eye contact. If you're appealing to somebody genuinely and what you're saying is the truth and you want to make your point, you try to look directly at the person. And even if you're recording something, that's what you do. So that was something to me that cleared the air video from the start. After I heard that video, and I made a comment and I said, but why is she giving a disclaimer? But then nobody was saying, people were saying he ran away or something happened to him or something. You understand? That's what the public was saying. But she came out with a disclaimer. Oh, he's not being maltreated at home. Up to that point, I didn't hear the public make any accusations like those. So why am I answering a question that was never asked? Was anybody else thinking that is strange or is just me? That was like, it happened the Friday is the evening that he didn't come home. And much love, Juba. Blessings, Juba. Mommy Simple here, I'm just trying to put my 2 cents into the Jayden Smith case, as I had some things that I wanted to put out there. I went live on last week on Facebook with it. And there's just some things I wanted to discuss or to say, which I don't really feel like calling any vloggers or sending out any voice notes sort of thing. So I'm just here talking about it, and feel free to put your comments in the chat. Later on, I'm gonna drop the link if anybody wants to come up and put in their 2 cents. So I thought it's strange, like I'm the type of person. I remember once I wore a torn stockings. Stockings used to run. So when you dress to church or to work back then, if you're not in your stockings, you don't feel like you're dressed. And I remember sometimes you put in on your stockings, like your fingernail or whatever, your shoes, whatever, catch the stocking and it run. And the stockings run. But I wasn't going to take it off. I'm just that type of person. And as I got to church, somebody pulled me aside to tell me that the stockings run. That's what the person intended to tell me. But from the person pulled me aside and pulled me around and looked down at my stockings, I say, yes, my stockings run. You don't need to tell me I know already. You understand? I'm preempting the person. So I gave that disclaimer. You don't have to tell me because I already know. So that's what I'm saying. Okay, I just checked and I thought that he was trying to. Okay. Yes, I sent you the link, but just hold on a bit. I just have a few questions, a few pieces of evidence that if we a few things that if we question them, we can see that there are evidence. Welcome, Mixed Vlogs. How are you? Thanks for stopping by. Welcome, everyone. Put your comments in the chat. I can know you're here. Thank you so much for coming in. Why was Shanique giving a disclaimer? Oh, Jayden is very happy at home. Jayden is not being abused or maltreated, I think she said. I might be just paraphrasing, you understand? At that point, no one was questioning that. There were a few of us who noticed his eyes from the very first we saw this picture and saw him and say, yeah, man, that guy, too much sadness in his eyes. But we weren't, we were just saying his eyes tell a lot, but people weren't saying, oh, them treat him bad, that the family, this, that. The most we were saying is that the family knows what happened, but nobody was accusing. So why was she giving that disclaimer? And that disclaimer, I didn't see that video come out until after she went back home to the US, right? But as I said, when I look in the background, I see breadfruit tree. The only place over here that breadfruit grow is South Florida, and they say she's from the Carolinas. Whether North or South Carolina, I don't know. So she must have recorded that video down here. All right. The other thing again, she said she didn't go to the house. She went straight to the hospital. When it didn't work out, that when she saw that it wasn't a case of picking up the baby at the airport as she had planned, as she had intended, she went straight to Mandeville Hospital. At some point, she went somewhere to, I think she said, shower and change or something. And she mentioned the name of the person who picked her up to go there. No, based on some other videos I'm watching and all the many TikTok videos that she and her mom are giving interviews on, it so happened that it's somewhere down Spur Tree Way. They say she went. All right. When she said up to like Tuesday, I don't want to misquote, but sometime earlier this week when she said, what she think is that when Jayden turned the camera, pick up Jayden going, exiting Megamart back gate or whatever, and Jayden went to Perth roadside where it is a lonely road, and it was dark. He gave away his umbrella. Remember that came out in the first news. Gave away his umbrella to a friend. So they say it was raining crazy that evening. And he walked to Perth. I don't know Manchester that well. I don't know Mandeville that well. But when I saw the same guy who you people call Emperor, I don't call people name like that. I'm not venerating anybody. He retraced the step, which I think was a good thing. And persons pointed out that same dark, lonely road that Shanique is saying, oh, somebody could have taken him away on that road. It must be somebody who see a little boy just walking alone in the rain and take him away. That same road, they say, is like a back road that you can take, an alternate route that you can take to Spur Tree. All right. Now, before I came on, I listened another of Juba Upon the End's video where somebody calling to somebody came up on one of these TikTok live and said something about switching, that it's been identified that it's the uncle's car that picked up Jayden. And they talk about switching license plate and whatever. Now I haven't heard that anywhere else as yet, so I'm not gonna go into the hearsay and the hearsay and the hearsay. You understand? As I said, more is being revealed on these TikTokers live stream than I have proof of, and I'm not trying to misjudge or misquote anything. So that is just my next question. As I said, that's that reveals another piece of evidence. Why didn't we hear from Shanique until after she went back? As far as I know, that video only came out after she went back. You understand? If you came down and all this, and the whole thing I'm saying, the child wasn't unalive. The child broke a bone. He's only 2 years old. I see a video with him jumping up and down, and she, the mama, say he's a very active child and love to jump up and down, and so persons are saying, all the fingers point at the family. But what I said from the start is that the family knows. But I thought the little baby's mom didn't know anything. At first I say I don't think she has anything to do with it, but the family knows. But after everything is coming out, whoever has something to do with it, I think she's the major cover-up. She's the one who is orchestrating the story. Because as you say, her mom, the aunt of Jayden's aunt story is changing. Jayden's aunt attitude is changing. Jayden's aunt body language and voice and everything is changing since she came down. Since her daughter came down, the little baby's mom came down. You understand? So in my head, I'm thinking, is she the one who is corroborating the story and say, this is what we're going to say, this is what we're going to... Because obviously, from the baby's incident, which is the other thing again, Jayden isn't here to say her piece. They described it as an accident. I heard it with their own mouth on several live streams. They, the family, the mom and the daughter, which is the grandmother of the little baby who got hurt, and the mother of the describe it as an accident. And they said that the baby was jumping towards Jayden, and Jayden said, you know what I mean? Like somebody, like a child jump at you and you're back. That's what we call sight. So if anybody who's listening who is not Jamaican and don't really understand, a child jumped towards you, but you moved away, right? So that the child doesn't end up in your arms, so to speak, or on you. So the child fell wherever in the living room, based on what the Anne-Marie said, the auntie of Jayden, the grandmother of the baby. Jayden isn't here to tell his side of the story, so how do we know all that is true? Where was the other cousin, the little boy, Shanique's brother? He's underage, so I'm not going to call up his name on my live stream. The D, I'm just going to call him D. Where was D? Why are we all running with the narrative that all this is true? Jayden isn't here to tell his side of the story, and I still pray he's alive so that he can come and tell his side of the story. All right? And in my head, I'm saying, yes, I would be mad. I remember when my nephew, that this was the first foreign picnic we were going to have in our family. When the first time when he came to Jamaica. Of course, we treat him special. He's used to a particular diet. So, on everything, we're not going to feed him with dumpling and banana and yam and ackee and saltfish when him don't know them things they yet. You understand? We never give him callaloo and green banana for him breakfast. He's used to his egg and sausage and pancake and waffles and this and that. Those are the things that he's used to. He can't drink the river water. So although we carry go river, he's not used to one whole body of water yet. The biggest body of water he knows is his bath. So even when we do carry him go river, we're not going to leave him a splish splash like the other pet of them in the water. So of course it's going to seem like you treat him special. I remember he ended up drinking the water, which several kids come from abroad, several people come from abroad and drink the water, the river water, not just the river water, but local water, and get sick. And it happened to him. He had running belly, diarrhea from the river water and go drink. You understand? Because their system, I have a friend at church, she call it them porridge, foreign pick their porridge. Their system is so different, you understand? So of course the grandchild is gonna get a little different treatment. So when the auntie Anne Marie say, oh, after the incident, she only say, don't play be careful next time. And the step uncle said when she him drop him off, go get him taxi for go school Friday morning. He said, if you can be good, be careful. You understand? Yes, Drew, but thanks a lot for all those lovely emojis. You understand? But how are we so sure? Since Jayden isn't here, and I pray that Jayden is still alive and can come back to give his side of the story. How are we so certain that that story go? They are not blaming him, they say it's an accident. But how are we so sure that what they're saying is true? We can't even take anything from D. I'm just gonna call him D right now. You understand? So that's what I'm saying. They had enough time to put their story together. I'm not gonna say that they are guilty or they did whatever, but they directly know what happened to Jayden. They know what happened to Jayden. And the JCF, the investigative team, I can see how 2 weeks. Today start the third week, isn't it? Today starts the third week, I think, since Jayden is missing. It's over 2 weeks. And they don't call in the family yet for interrogation. Who should be the prime suspect? Whether guilty or not. Something happened to someone in your home or something happened in your home. The householders are the prime suspect. Which lead me to the next question now. The next piece of evidence we need to look into. Okay, Miss Brown, God bless you. God bless you. Thanks so much. It's so nice to see you. And I pray for all your all the blessings on your Christian walk, my dear. Take care. Yes. So the next question, was Jayden even at the hospital? Because I'm hearing conflicting reports. You understand? They said that everybody went to the airport, the hospital, and that Jayden and the cousin, I just call him D, had fallen asleep in the car, and the uncle took them home. I think the uncle is Shanique and her brother's father. But even so, he took them home. Him drive taxi. To the time when this man say when they said this man went home and cook food for them to get breakfast and something, and drop them back at one to get his taxi, and went back to work. Remember, that night the lady Anne Marie was at the hospital with the baby. He said he came home. He came home to get something for her, right? Then he's gonna go back home, sleep, I'd imagine, wake up whatever time and cook for them to leave out about 6 o'clock. To the time when he said he went to the hospital to drop off something, there wasn't enough time to come home and cook. And to the time when he said he dropped Jayden to get taxi that morning, his story is not adding up. You understand? Whatever I said at first, I think was correct, but no, they're telling him no to try to say something. That is my view. That is several people's view. That would make their story add up, and it's not adding up with his original story. The maths just not matching, Mr. Man. The maths not matching. So you should have before you open your mouth and say anything to the public, anything to the police or anything, you should have asked Shanique what she wanted to say first, both you and Mary. Because no, Shanique is changing the narrative. So my question is, was Shanique even at the hospital? Was Jayden even at the hospital with them, as they are saying? because I'm going back. Juba Miss Brown says she's leaving now. she's I went back through my, as I said, I'm going back through my history, my YouTube history, to see which video I watched where I hear the lady say something about, when you just listen something and I really watching. And as you can tell by my gray hairs, me I get old now. So maybe my head wasn't working properly. But I could swear I hear this lady say something about her not taking Jayden. Like she said, I didn't want to take him up there, or I didn't want to leave him up there because Jayden have one cousin. We don't like Jayden. If I'm wrong, tell me, please. I've been asking from my live stream on Facebook live stream last week. So please tell me if anybody heard that. I made a mix up. Blessings, Beverly Saunders. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Am I getting mixed up here? Please. I'd love to be wrong. In this case, I really want to be wrong. I really want to be wrong. But I don't hear anybody mention that key piece of evidence. So please tell me that I'm wrong and my mind or my ears are playing tricks on me. I'm going back through all these videos trying to listen and say, when did this lady, the aunt, Anne-Marie, give an interview? And it's from it's from the first set of videos. So if anybody heard her between, I don't know when the news broke, because I think it's Saturday night when I came in from church. I wouldn't have been watching or listening anything until Saturday night when I came in from church. So if there was anything prior to that, I'm not sure. But the first sets of video I watched, if it's not if it's not the very first one that she gave an interview, it's about the second one that she gave that interview. Please, anybody heard that? Correct me if I'm wrong, and please let me be wrong, because I could hear that lady said, I could swear I hear the lady said she didn't take Jayden up there, wherever it's up there, whether the hospital or what, or she never leave him up there, something like that, because Jayden have one cousin we not like Jayden. Lord, please let me be wrong. And if I'm wrong, forgive me. Because if this is true, this is a very crucial piece of evidence that we're overlooking. So if anybody heard that, please type it in the chat. Juba upon the ends, if you ever watch this video, it's mainly yours I watched. And your videos were the first ones I saw. J Progress, if your video or whoever it might be, because I've watched several videos, I don't know the names of some of these platforms, right? So if I'm wrong, please, somebody, please, 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 I'd love to be wrong. Please tell me that I was wrong. Tell me I was falling asleep and not hearing correctly. Tell me something, hear me here. Tell me I was dreaming. Because if that is true, that is a key piece of evidence that we're overlooking. People are pointing finger at the cousin who came down, but I don't know. I think the brother, the other cousin, is somebody who needs to be investigated thoroughly for whatever. Whatever happened to Jayden, as I said from the start, I don't think Jayden no ran away. When you add up the story about the money, all the money, I know more and more evidence is coming in. I don't know, so I'm not even going to go into that. Let me try to avoid that. But from the start, I was saying, I don't think this boy ran away. You ever see something like a child or something, my viewers and subscribers, and you reprimand them? Several times I've seen it, where I shared on my Facebook live stream last week with my son, who always, he was small, maybe like 4, 5, 6, always pestering his sister. The sister is 3.5 years older. And no matter how she say, I'm not playing, stop. Mommy tell him to stop, dad tell him to stop. I'm not playing, whatever. He'll just keep doing it and just run and hide and whatever. And one day I got so mad, just slap him with my hand. And he jumped over the back of the couch, but it's like a dive. So he dove down the back of the couch and his nose started bleeding. No, I didn't even know where my hand caught him. So I thought, oh my God, maybe man lick him on him nose and use my hand and break him nose and him nose bleeding. But my kids, just like myself, suffer from nosebleed. So I don't know exactly what happened. It wasn't a cut or a broken nose. It was just bleed. But I was so scared. So imagine, especially in a country like this, imagine if it was something bad and then me go try cover it up. You understand? When kids in this country, when anything, if they're complaining of pain or anything, and you take them to the emergency room, they always ask those questions, right? Did you hit him? Did you beat him? I remember once when he had, I don't know till now we can prove it if it's juvenile arthritis or what it is. The orthopedic surgeon, all the tests they did, they couldn't say. But he just, when he was around 3, my son, it just came to a point where he couldn't walk. It's not sickle cell or anything, but his knees would just cripple up like this, and he just drawing his foot. And I remember the first time I had to rush him to the emergency room with that because we didn't know what it was. And the doctors asked, my daughter was there, as I say, is the older one, the elder one. Were you playing with your baby brother? This, that, because they ask questions to try to get answers without asking you directly what you did. So when we answered all the questions and so on, they realized that it wasn't anything like that. They did the blood draw and whatever. They referred us to the orthopedic surgeon and we took it from there, that sort of thing. But I'm just saying, all these questions they ask you in order to establish whether something criminal happened, because sometimes we pretend to be normal people on the outside, but we have some dirty secrets. We have some demons in our closets at home. You see what I'm saying? So I'm thinking, my theory is that, and until we have the evidence, which maybe only Jayden can ever, because even if people confess and none of these family members have anything to do with what happened to Jayden, only Jayden can come back and tell us. And I don't mean come back as a ghost. I mean praying that he's alive so that he can be returned home safely, that he'll tell us what happened. Because I'm thinking that when she came down and saw what happened to her son, whether she or her younger brother, it could even be the Anne-Marie, the baby's grandmother, I don't know, but some family member, and I don't think it's the uncle, the step uncle, some family member maybe grab him up or something, or push him or something that was not with the intention of unaliving him or even hurting him. It's not like you're gonna pay for what you do, this, that. It might not even be that. It might be, Jayden, look what you do to a baby, this, that. In the low car, or something like that. Jayden, how much time I have to tell you so you ramp rough? Because Anne-Marie said with her own mouth that Jayden ramp rough. And she had to tell him sometime that he can't rough with the younger one. Them, I don't know who is them, whether they have other younger ones in their home or just meaning with younger kids in general. She said that the same thing when we hear her saying about not leaving or not taking Jayden up there because Jayden have one cousin winner like Jayden. As I say, I can't find the live, so I'm praying that I'm mistaken. The video. I'm praying that my ears weren't hearing correctly. But in that same video, she mentioned that she warned him all the while that him ran too rough. So could it be that they rough him up? Several times, when you're watching like CSI and these police investigation shows, things like these happen. You rough him up or you rip him on them for something, things get out of hand, the wrong thing happen. You probably, you move out of my way, boy, and push him and him fall and hit him head, or something happened that ended up being fatal. You understand? And oh my God, what we don't know. When the first thing to do is to call 911, 119, call for help. You understand? But instead, what we do, because, oh my God, what am I going to know? And you try to cover up. So you start to concoct a story. You start building a story. I just figure something like that. Whatever it do, whatever happened, whatever them do, maybe beat him. It could be a beat him, but you never beat him for nothing. I don't think they. No, I can't judge, but I don't think they intentionally unalive this little boy. I'm not gonna believe that. I'm not gonna just put that into my spirit because I don't. God forbid. I don't think so. But I think they perhaps beat him, rough him up, push him out of the way or something. All right. He was seen on Perth Road, and they say they have evidence of that. So it would be sometime after that. It might not be in the house because, thanks, Mixed Vlogs, because when they said that when they came home from the hospital, he wasn't in the house. His uniform, book bag, and everything wasn't there. So apparently, when whoever picked him up, no, people claim that they have evidence of which car, and they say it's the uncle's car. They say license plate change. I don't know. He say, she say, everybody say. So I don't know. I can't say, right? But the eyes of the Lord are over all the earth. The Bible say, observing the evil and the good. Jamaicans, we have a way of paraphrasing everything. I'm not realizing that is the Bible we quoted from. Jamaicans say, God nah sleep. It means the same thing. You understand? So apparently, when they picked him up, when the cousin that he was supposed to meet, he told a friend that he gave his umbrella to that he wasn't going home. He was gonna meet his cousin, or he's waiting on his cousin. Some people say he said his cousin was going to pick him up, whichever. And I believe in great anticipation, as I said before. Cousin just fly down from foreign and whatever. It might be exciting. It might be even a little anxious because of what happened with the baby. Although they said it was an accident, you didn't do it. But it might be a little anxiety because they say he's a very loving child to the baby and others. You understand? So apparently, that was the cousin who was going to come to get him. And whatever happened from there is where things went downhill. I'd love to believe that it wasn't that they had plans to unalive him. But as I said, whatever they do, beat him, push him, rough him up, whatever, and something bad happened, it went south. And in order to cover it up now, they had to, instead of say, oh my God, rush him back a hospital, or and make we just say I drop or a this or a that or whatever. You understand? Or call the police. I mean, we don't always call police in all cases. Jamaica is not like over here or some places where you can just pick up phone and call police and they come for every little thing like that. So instead of say, oh my God, make we go seek medical attention, it perhaps just got so bad. By the time you ever watch some of those shows, by the time everybody put it, oh my God, and you're like, attend to the person on the floor or something. Everybody, oh my God, this, that. Take phone, call this one. Uncle, such and such and such, call that one. What me going to do? Let me call my husband, let me call my friend. Not the husband, because the husband is away, as she said. As I said, I don't know whether deployed or whether on base. And I know that they can't just be reached by phone that easily. But I call my friend here, so, me know, I have one police friend, let me call my cousin, let me call my auntie, let me call somebody. There's always somebody who they try to call to see what to do. And by then the person perhaps say, you know what, such and such and such, But he was picked up alive. That's much comes out in the evidence that they're now saying. Shanique is saying, oh, must be somebody see him. Look, a boy walking in the rain. And must up there so them abduct or them take with Jayden. I do believe you know what happened. And all we're saying is just come out and say what you know. If you look down somebody road, if you're driving on the highway and look down somebody, instead of all the charges that goes with hit and run, is either you try to drive to the nearest police station or you take out your phone. Everybody has phone nowadays. Stay on the scene and call 911, 119, whatever the number is in your country. chances are an accident is an accident. All right. Chances are there are no criminal charges. Chances, but definitely if there are criminal charges, it will be less. But when you left the person there and drive gone, it's no hit and run. You know the maximum. I don't know what the maximum is, but you're gonna get the maximum for that. So if it was an accident like that, which I do believe unintentionally, but I mean I really think them intentionally do something fatal to this little boy. So if it was that you rough him up or you rip him on him, you beat him, whatever, for what happened to the baby, and everything goes out and him pass out, him gone, like knit, then the best thing would have been to do is just bundle him up and rush him back up a hospital, rush him back up a Mandeville hospital, same way. But instead, no, if that's the case, instead, no, you gone back. No investigation. You're on TikTok live, you and the mother on TikTok live, giving a bag of stories so much till it's like you start, when the mother tries to speak, you answer for the mother. So are you the orchestrator? I'm not trying to blame you or anything. I don't want to judge you. I don't know you, but I can judge based on the evidence. We can judge based on the evidence. I'm not judging this case. I'm not in that position. Leave all judgment unto God. But I'm just analyzing based on the evidence that's there, based on your own words, your own interviews. You understand? So just come out and say something, man. It's the first case I see that everybody's talking about this. Right? So right now I'm just saying, whew, I don't know, man. I'm just saying we still pray that Jayden is out there. I'm gonna drop the link if anybody want to put in their 2 cents. I'm gonna put the StreamYard link. You can come on screen and share. You don't have to show your face, but you will have to open your camera in order for me to allow you up. So that's the link. Juba, anybody back there who wants to come up and share your 2 cents, feel free to do so. See the link. All right. And there's a pin link, guys, I pinned the link to my Facebook page. Follow me on Facebook. I'm trying to build my Facebook platform. I started it from years ago, shortly after I started my YouTube. I wasn't really doing anything over there. I only used to put the links to my YouTube videos. But since a few months now, I'm trying to build it. I was at, I think, 400 and odd. Now I'm almost doubled. So help me build. So I just dropped the link. If anyone will come on screen and share your thoughts. So that's basically what I'm saying, guys. If we re-examine some of these questions, we can see that there's some evidence missing. And as I said, particularly the one that I say, Mommy Simple, you are hearing incorrectly. The lady didn't say she'll never leave Jayden up there, or she never carry Jayden up there because Jayden of course when I like Jayden. She never says so. I'm just gonna tell myself that she didn't say that. But anyone in the chat, if you ever heard that video from the initial stages where she said that, or whatever, paraphrasing, please confirm. But please, I'd love to be wrong on that one. Because if she said that one, I know this young boy. I just figure this younger boy knows more than we're hearing. So the link is right there. If anybody want to come up, just click on it and I'll add you to the stream if you want to come up and share your 2 cents. So these are the questions I'm looking at, guys. And I started out by saying, when you see things like these happen where just so many things behind each other that our minds are so occupied, you understand, with all these things that are happening, the Jayden case, the former Miss Universe contestant who unalived herself. Now we have 2 police officers found unalived yesterday, one suspected suicide. We have another UWI student. We have the young lady and her baby who was missing. We have the other high schooler who it turned out that the father. All these things is like, what is really happening? As I started out this live stream, I want to reiterate. There's always something, there's always a bigger picture that the devil tries to distract us from. All right. Yes, all these things, all these cases are critically important and they deserve our attention. But what really is happening in Jamaica right now that the devil is trying to deceive us, to blind our eyes from paying attention to? There has to be a shift. There is a turning point. I'm almost certain of that. I use several examples from real life and from Bible history, from secular history as well, that shows. We saw it in COVID case most recently. All right. We saw, as I said, with 9/11, where everybody was focusing on 9/11, not realizing all these laws that were passing, all these acts that were being changed. I see you, Juba, the Patriot Act and all of those. Before we know it, the Constitution was changed. We saw it in thing there with George Floyd. So much was going on in political history, and with COVID. What is going on in Jamaica? There are some changes, some great shifts, some turning points that are going on. Why the devil allow all these things to come up right now to blind our eyes? While we keep praying for Jayden and all these other cases, while we keep looking for him, but something is happening. Ask God to give us spiritual discernment. Welcome, Juba. Juba, blessings. What's going on?
Oh my God, what one?
Medea, it's been a while. Mom is simple too old for them, so they look for the gray hair. I, I do. I'm on pre-retirement leave from YouTube. What going?
Why but they are going easy?
Yes,
I'm
yes,
so happy to see you.
yes. I was just about to say you're always happy. I go on your channel every now and then, and check up on you, but boy,
Okay, thank you.
yeah, man. But a lot of things have changed, so I don't have the time as much to keep my YouTube channel active. But praise God, people are still
Yeah.
following up on my videos and so. So how you doing? What's going on?
Well, I'm good so far, we just say I go and give thanks to life, give God thanks for grace and mercy.
Oh, praise God, praise God. What else is there to do? How business?
Well, as usual, that's a go and take it time, go on.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Even though it not that much, but the liquor is much.
Well, that's how it is. That's how it is all over. So as you said, we just have to give God thanks for life. Where there's
Yeah,
a will, there's a way, and where there's life, there's hope.
yeah.
So what is your take on this Jayden Smith case now? You have anything to add?
Why? Why? To me see it is a very tough case.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
It's a
mm-hmm,
very tough case and it is a very challenging one as
mm-hmm,
to me see it.
mm-hmm,
Because the end of the day, if you are a parent, regardless of what's happening, you
mm-hmm,
understand, and if you have a children and them fall into certain difficulty or certain challenges, as a
mm-hmm.
parent that was say you're caring and loving towards the children, you gotta try your best to see that everything go okay and
Yes.
everything go right. You understand? So
Mm-hmm.
this one is really a hard puzzle, because I always see the news and hear them talk about him. You understand? But when I say to myself, if a little boy like that,
Yes.
you don't think a little boy like that, where, say for instance, then him can't provide for himself in a certain way. I go run away from him home and leave him home and not go back home.
Because guess what?
Because he don't know where else to go to eat.
That is
And
it,
I
because
go,
it's almost this week begins this Friday, starts 3 weeks. And the mother, I keep hearing they said the family said the mother is a hairdresser and she go around and do her little hair and something. But I don't hear the mother come out and say anything. So if he had run away and gone to the mother or the father, Don't by now somebody would say something. How could he
Yeah.
survive on the little money that he nobody can survive on 2,000 odd.
No $2,000 and I like say him have the knowledge to say all right then him have a hustle for himself
That
to
is
make
it.
things easy upon him side to ease off the hunger and ease off the pressure. If him
And
even if him even there in a bush a hide him a go come home to him parents.
but that is it, Juba, and hustle somewhere. Somebody would see him. Remember, his pictures all over, all over the place, all over the news, all over the internet, all over the all over the world. Wherever there are Jamaicans right now, I'm sure they must have heard about this case. You understand? So if he was out there hustling, somebody would see him by now.
Yeah, somebody would have to see him. And not in this rain time that we are in. So much rain and fall and you run away and you
Exactly.
not have no shelter.
Exactly. Because even that evening they say it was raining heavily. That evening when he they last saw him heading up to Perth Road and this girl, the cousin say, the little baby's mom say somebody must have boy, I think somebody must have seen him, a little boy walking in the rain, and I must that's what them take away Jayden. I mean, why would she come up with that theory unless she knows something? You understand? So she must know something in all this rain and something. First of all, why was he going up in the rain if on that lonely road? Unless somebody told him exactly. Remember, he said he told a friend that he gave the umbrella that he was waiting for the cousin. Either the cousin can come meet him or go and pick him up, whichever one. And Skyblade, blessings, Skyblade. And he was going with a cousin. Why there? Why on that lonely road by himself? When I saw that guy, the one you guys call Emperor, gave his walkthrough yesterday. It's really a place where after the business places and so close, nobody no really seem like they need to. I don't know Mandeville that well. I really don't think I know Perth Road. You understand? Let me just check. Are you reading all the comments? Blessings, Skyblade. Yes, I'm reading all the comments. Feel free to give yours in the chat. And this link right here, that's the StreamYard link for anybody who wants to come up. This is a Christian-based platform, so language check and content check and all those things are in place if anybody want to come up. Okay, just bear that in mind. As I always say, this is a smoke-free. This is a smoke-free and alcohol-free alcohol-free and smoke-free platform. So let me just see, Juba, let me just see what Skyblade said. Shanique said she didn't leave the hospital. The stepfather said she went to Spurtree. Exactly. I covered that earlier. She said she didn't leave the hospital. You understand? But then they said she went to Spurtree to freshen up and must change or something, to shower and change. She said she didn't leave the hospital. Skyblade, she said, with her own mouth, I heard her say it, her intention, according to her own words, was that somebody was going to take the baby to Mobile Airport to meet her. She didn't intend to come to Mandeville. She didn't stay at Anne Marie at her mom's house, based on what she said. You understand? She claimed she didn't leave the hospital. The only time she left the hospital, she said, was because the baby wanted KFC. The baby loved KFC, so she went to buy KFC. Many inconsistencies, of course. The maths, not maths in. I wasn't good at maths, but this maths is not because me can't do maths why me can't work it out. Nobody can work out this maths, right? So those are the questions now. And the thing is, Juba, the more they talk, it's the more they're digging themselves into a hole. Because no, people are beginning to accuse them. At first, people were just saying it was my belief that they knew what happened to the babe. But no, people are beginning to accuse them. I don't know, but it don't look good. It don't look good on the part of the JCF either, because I cannot see. People are saying she shouldn't even be allowed to leave the country. But remember, we didn't know the public didn't know she was here. There's the video, this picture that I have here, the video that she did. It was after the Saturday that I saw that video come out. If anybody saw that video where she said, let me clear, she just want to clear the hair. Let me know if they saw it before, because I didn't see any that video on anybody's platform until after until after she would have gone back to the States. So all
Okay.
of that, why would she wait so long to say something? Why she come out with the disclaimer that, oh, um, the Jayden is not being maltreated. Up to that point, nobody was saying anything like that. So why is she putting it out there? As I said, neuro-linguistic programming. That is when you when you repeat things often enough, the hearer, people will start believing it because you keep repeating it, repeating it. So it's like you're programming their brains to think that way. Also, when you try to address somebody's question before they ask the question, before they even think the question, you're drilling it into their brain that this is how you want them to think. So she's smart. She's very smart. So she already telling us what she want us to think even before we started thinking that way. Why? Unless you're covering up something. Why? Boy, I mean, I know, Job, I feel it. I feel it like it's my own child, and I'm still holding out hope. But why I'm so interested in this case is because the JCF man, gonna mess
No,
up on this one big time. The police mess up on this one big time, Juba.
no, but the end of the day, when we look into it, when we look into it, the end of the day, something no match up and something not right.
That is it. The math's not mathsing. The math's not add up.
Because the end of the day, if you have your children and you have your children and him can't find for so long, you understand him can't find for so long, then where is him? And he was in your company from the beginning.
But that's what I'm saying. You say you had a little boy, what? From he was 5? Either from he was 5 or 5 years ago. I think she said from he was 5. But there's no remorse, Juba. They're not acting like, say, this a 3 weeks start now, you know. They're not
And,
acting like, when I hear the
and,
grandma, the mom, Shanique's mom, Anne
and
Marie.
and the thing is, he never used to get trouble.
That's what I'm saying. They themselves say him never used to get trouble. Oh, him feed the goat. Him do more work in the yard. He's a bright student. He was the number one pep student at Betabra, his primary school. Since him start go Manchester, I him join cadet and everything already. He's such a good student. You even one of either the aunt or her husband say, anything you ask him for do, him do it more than him cousin, more than the young guy. Me no one call him name for him underage, whose name start with D. And because of that, him get, when you do your little chores, them give you a little money, like a pocket
Yeah,
money and something.
yeah,
So him
yeah.
love doing chores and something. You understand? So to me, even that cousin, jealousy, a lot of jealousy. The guy is a overperformer, he's a number one student, and him just started high school. So it's like a little jealousy. You understand? Imagine my parents go take in this little cousin where nobody no want. And him come now, come and do him a do better. Although he's what? I think that one is 15 and Jayden is 12. Let me read these comments 1 second. Sky Blaze, a lot of people think you can commit crimes and get away with it in Jamaica, but it doesn't work like it don't work like that, my dear. Yes, you can get away, but you shouldn't. God not sleep. It always come back. Justice must be served. So even if you get away from the police, even if you have friends in high places and you pay off the police, you pay off down to lawyer and judge, God not sleep. Try to understand. Try to understand this. The police does not owe the public any updates in an active investigation. Active is active. The police are doing work. We just don't know all the details yet. So it's true, Skyblade. My intent by saying that, Skyblade, is not that the police owe us. You understand? But it's just that what I'm saying is, how,
No,
for
but
example, could she, 1 second, Juba, how, for example, could this young lady, how she gone back? You understand? Without being interrogated. What they owe us an explanation for is that, okay, well, the grandma, the aunt has been held for further investigations. You understand? Or that sort of thing. They will tell you that. They don't have to tell us the details of what they are being asked, or what have been said. But yes, the public needs to know. They always make the public know, or a suspect has been held in connection with this case, that sort of thing. You'll hear that on the news. But so far, they haven't held them for any form of questioning. Right. So my intention when I said that was not that they need to give us blow by blow updates. But when someone has been held in connection with a case, the police, they have to let us know. Go ahead, Juba.
No, but in a case like this,
Mm-hmm.
when I think about everything, you
Mm.
cannot
Oh, you chip out. Juba, if you're hearing me, you chip out. I don't know if you're using Wi-Fi or data, but you chip out. Maybe it's gonna fall off. If you're hearing me, refresh, Juba. Yes. So that's what I mean. That's what I mean, guys. I'm not saying they owe us blow by blow updates. No, they don't, because that could compromise the case as well. But I'm saying if they were ever held for investigations, they have to let us know, the public know. And so far, they haven't told us that. So we know that they haven't been held. We know that they went up there and do at least 2 searches. I know of from the news. I don't mean from social media. And Manchester High School organized a search as well. The students went down there, up there. Yeah, he fell off. I don't know if he's using Wi-Fi or if he's using data. Juba, if you're hearing me, you can come back up. All right. And anyone in the chat, if you want to share your 2 cents, that is the link you can click to come up. You don't have to show your face. If you don't want to, you can remain anonymous, but it's just that in order for me to add you to the stream, you have to show your face when you're backstage, all right? You have to open your camera and your mic when you're back there in order for me to add you, right? So they owe us that much. And this whole thing about oh, Juba, come back. This whole thing about all these vloggers and TikTokers who are running with it, to me, it's helping to compromise the case as well, because so many people saying so many things. It's like we're trying the case on social media already, and we almost ready to sentence who it should be sentenced, and just running. The other thing again, I think by all these interviews that they're doing on TikTok, these 2 ladies are doing, they're making it worse for themselves. I think they're making it worse for themselves. Welcome back, Juba. You're using data or Wi-Fi. You drop off.
that the Wi-Fi and through the sky kind of cloudy.
I, I figured because you mentioned about the rain. Let me see what Mix Vlogs. Hui,
It's
Miss
that
Vlogs. Your name, I took all the night to tell me tongue. This is a
girl.
trend. She said, Juba, she said, this is a trend. It seems things happen in Jamaica, then these people go overseas, and basically that is the end. Remember McCullough case and Eiley. That's the thing. That's the thing. All with as you rightly said, the one with Paul Well baby and that case. There are some things to me, but then again, Mixed Vlogs. Maybe they didn't even know that this girl came down, because, as I said, the video that she made clearing the air, I think I didn't see it dated until after she went back up. Maybe she
Oh,
put it out. Maybe she put it on her social media page. I don't know. So I could be wrong. So maybe they didn't even know she was here. They didn't hold her officially, so they couldn't prevent her from going back. But that's what I was saying. Maybe, and she's smart. Maybe that's why she didn't stay at the house either. So she can have no connection with anything. So she know that she shouldn't stay at the house. Because based on how everything is adding up, she didn't stay at the house. Them say spiritual side, she stay. Exactly, Miss Skyblade. That's what I'm saying. I think they should come off TikTok, stop giving all these interviews, You understand? And as I said earlier, my advice to the TikTokers, don't, if you really want anything, you can't investigate. You never see police investigate two people in the same room. Even immigration, when you go immigration and them, and them interviewing you, one go in that room, one go in at they do, and then they bring you together now to see. You understand? When is a spouse file for a spouse? That wasn't my case, so I didn't have that. But I have several friends and family members who have that. They carry you in that case, in that room, Juba. They carry me in that room. They ask me what color toothbrush you use. You understand? They ask me whether you drive to work or take the bus. They ask me what you had for breakfast this morning. And then you over that room, they asking you questions about me. They can't have me and you in the same room. Because obviously what you say, I'm gonna say the same thing. So that's the thing with these TikTokers. Very smart idea of doing this sort of TikTok court cases, but you can't have Anne-Marie and Shanique on the same live. You know, see every time Anne-Marie open her mouth, Shanique and Safia. Come on. Let me see.
Back to what I was saying before I get dropped off.
Yes.
I'm saying you are you are the parents of the children, and
Mm,
if anything happen, you cannot rely on the JCF alone to come out and
mm.
say, all right, then you're gonna protect your children
Yes,
or
yes.
do certain things to protect your children. You are the parents of the children. You is the one that's supposed to protect the children that the JCF don't have the problem to know what happened to your children. You understand what I'm saying?
But that is true. That is true,
If,
you know. That is true, you know, Juba. But the
if you,
aim, the purpose of the JCF is to serve and protect. So
yeah,
when your responsibility ends and it becomes a criminal case, or let's not say criminal, because we don't want to say that. Jayden, maybe one still want to feel Jayden is alive. When it becomes a missing case, yes, you can still do your part, but that's where they now are supposed to step in and do their part because they have the training and the expertise. Yes, you can still organize your search party and you can still do your thing. You understand? And
yeah,
as was it Miss was it Skyblade was saying, when now it becomes a criminal case, you're supposed to pull your hands off and leave them to do the investigation. You can do it, your thing underhanded, you know, but you can't do anything what compromise their investigation. So that's what I am saying now. They haven't held any of them for sentence for questioning. Your household is the primary suspect. Not that we're accusing the police accusing you of doing anything, but your child gone missing. You, my child goes missing, and me first. I'm supposed to hold and question. I am the primary suspect. I didn't see that in this case. Let me just catch up with these. Welcome, Sharon Young. I am wondering if it's the same person. Remember, she came down for her baby. That's what I'm saying. Sharon Young. She said her intention was to stay at Mobile Airport and somebody never come drop the baby, but she bring the baby to her. But she being a nurse, as they say she's a nurse, she should know that if the hospital no clear the baby for travel, she can't take a baby with a broken bone, broken limb, hip, or whatever, broken femur. Lord, that word hard to pronounce. To go fly commercial go. That's what I was saying. And I know based on my recent experience with my sister's case that it's at least 25,000 US to get air ambulance to Miami. They say she live in North Carolina. Are they gonna fly her to Miami and then she get regular ambulance or fly her straight to North Carolina? You understand? She could be out. All the papers are ready. The receiving hospital, all the documents are ready. Less than 25 minutes, she's out. But this is not really a medical emergency like that, although it's a US citizen. But I don't see this as a medical emergency. Are you willing to put up 25,000 to fly your baby just because of a broken bone? You understand? Mixed Vlog says, I don't listen to them over there. They create a lot of problems and behave as if they know everything. I don't listen to them over there, you know, my dear. But the YouTubers who I listen to Mixed Vlogs, they have a lot of clips, a lot of footage from TikTok. To me, my mother used to say computer and internet are a devil, something. When things just got come on. But honestly, there's some spirit behind TikTok, some demonic spirit. We have to really investigate and see what the symbols and the name itself mean, because too much devilish things go on TikTok. So although I download the app, I don't use it. I actually offload it. And Skyblade says, even though they're making it worse, I am happy they're speaking to the public, and they need to continue because they are sinking themselves more. And that's fine because everything needs to be known. I agree. And I sort of disagree in the sense, let me say, I agree because that's the only way we're hearing some of these things. And they're sinking themselves. The more they talk, they're sinking themselves. That's true. But I disagree in the sense that the JCF should have been doing this. Let us know that they are being held for questioning. Then we could sort of ease off, because then they wouldn't be allowed to come on social media to speak as much. Yeah, but you notice when they investigate people in a Skyblade, them have them in a room for hours, till they want wee, till they want water, till they want coffee, and then just asking the same thing over and over. Did you go to the house on Friday afternoon? And then question you some more and then come back. Did you go to the house on Friday afternoon? And then I ask you, them just ride you, even immigration or so, customs and so, them just ride you with the same question. Because at some point you're going to break and forget what you said, or you just get so frustrated that you just, I start crying. Oh, it's my mother made me do it, or it's my husband, or whatever. I'm just talking generally. Devil's playground. Trust me, my dear. Sharon Young said, but as a good mother, I will come down. Healthcare in Jamaica is a joke. And I said that earlier, Sharon Young. I said that earlier based on experience. And I said, I'm not apologizing. I don't care who wants vex. That's exactly the words I use, that the health system in Jamaica is a joke. But unless you know other places where healthcare is given priority. I mean, if I'm wearing my dress, and that's the best dress I have, to me, that's a good dress because it's my best dress. Until Juba, I see Juba now selling some nice. I'm like, geez, they're not frack and pretty so. So that's the thing. If that's the healthcare system I know, before I left Jamaica, that was all I know. I've been to UWI on several occasions, but I've used Hargreaves, I've used Andrews. I have family members who have used Spanish Town. I've had family members who have used Maypen. I've visited family members in what the one at Port St. Mary, not Port Maria. What the other not Morant Bay. What the other town on the main road in St. Mary, and a few others. Not all. St. Joseph's, quite a few hospitals. And I realized that to me, they weren't good enough. Some were better than some. But after coming here now and see, oh my God, and said, then this is what healthcare is in some other places of the world. Then the healthcare system in Jamaica a joke, and them say she's a nurse. Of course she want better for her baby. Somebody mentioned that, then she did about up the nurse, them. A nurse wanted, somebody mentioned, and I cannot verify, but a nurse wanted to come out and say something about their behavior at the hospital, especially after she came. And I can understand, because if you're a nurse over here and you go down and see certain little things, you understand. But that is the worst thing you can do. You can't go to hospital, go and bad up nurse and doctor. Who you think going to suffer? You understand? First of all, one thing, if you're working in the health field, and especially if you're a nurse and you have a family member as a patient in a hospital, wherever, don't go in there, go make them know say you're a nurse. You're only making it worse for yourself, honestly. So I do agree that her intention was, I would do the same. I would want to get him out. When my sister was passing, that's the first thing. When I came down the next day, as I heard, and I bought a ticket same night and come down.
I have something to say.
Go ahead.
Say for instance then, if the little boy was in the present of the baby and
Mm-hmm.
eventually an incident happened to the baby, why the parents never try to find out if the little boy is all right? Because he is the one that let the incident happen. More than them take the baby and them a run up and down and them a behave like say them a stranger to the little boy.
But that's the point. That's the point, Juba, and that's why I
Not
say I
even,
never can. We never going to
not
know.
even if not even if him frightened to what happened. I don't think he gonna run left him parents.
But that's the thing, Juba. I said it earlier before you came up. Unless God bring back Jayden, Bill Jayden safely home, we never going to know. Who knows if Jayden was even in there? They said Jayden isn't here to give his side of the story. They said the boy was jumping because them they said with their own mouth that he's very active. Him love to jump up and down, and him love him one particular game or something on him device. And he was jumping around and jumping to Jayden, and Jayden sight him, and that's how him drop. Oh, we know say something even got so. Oh, we even know say Jayden did really in the living room. What happened to the other cousin? You understand? So they're saying it's an accident. From the very first start, they say it's an accident and we don't blame you, Jayden, so come home. All right, so let the public accept. We'll accept that it's an accident. But how we so sure say so it go for true? You understand? All the Anne Marie, the auntie say, is that I said I tell him that him ramp, Jayden ramp rough and ramp rough with the younger one them. And I tell him, say him ramp too rough with the younger one them. Try to be more careful next time. And the husband now would be Jayden's step uncle when him I drop him, if go get him taxi or whatever if go school the Friday morning. So him tell him, say, if you can't be good, at least be careful. You understand? So I don't see anything in that. If all of that is true, I don't see anything in that film runway, according to them runway. That don't justify him running away. The school say he was very happy at school that day and he left school on a high note. So all of that don't add up as to run away, to be missing for all of that. Plus, your cousin coming from foreign, although it's a bad situation why she coming, it's an emergency. You just have to have that little excitement, say cousin a come, and them say, they must have told him from the morning because they clearly stated, it is clearly known that they say phones are not allowed at Manchester High. So Jayden didn't have a phone on it. Even if he has a phone, I don't know, but he didn't have a phone on him. So the communication must have been done between Shanique and the family members from that night and tell Jayden, because them said the next boy never go to school. The next cousin never go to school. And tell Jayden, say, don't come home the normal way, whether taxi or what, but wait on me wherever, because may I come pick you up. Because they say a cousin was going to come pick you. Which cousin? It's not the one, call him D, because him never go to school. So it must be this one. And how she know what she said with her own
Okay,
mercy.
okay. So the question that I go ask, cause me not really 100 follow up the story, but me always ask it. So
Yes,
there
yes.
is so there is two cousins that gonna pick him up.
No, no. I am saying which one of the two. The two cousins who are known in the full story is
Yeah.
the little baby who get hurt, get injured. That little baby mom who lives over here, live in the States. And then her brother, her younger brother, who is 15, just 3 years older than Jayden. But that brother never got school. They said that they were at the hospital with them the night and the two boys fall asleep in the car. So the daddy said, the uncle, who is the daddy of the next boy, carried them home. But as I say, if anybody, I say it over and over, if anybody ever heard it before, I'm almost certain I heard one of the first videos when this happened, where the lady, the auntie say, she never carry him go up there because him have one cousin when I like him. Jayden have one cousin when I like Jayden. So, may I pray say me wrong. May I pray say me wrong. Uh,
Okay.
Jayden solved his own case. He said, I am going to meet my cousin. That's the thing, Skyblade. Him say, I'm going to meet him cousin. That him tell the little girl and give the girl the umbrella. And then according to them, but as I said earlier, no, one of the piece of evidence that's missing. Who is the woman? He was seen, the last sighting was with a, they say, was with another student and a woman who, from me hear it from the first video. And this is from the news report, not just YouTube, TikTok, or whatever. Who was this woman and who was this other student that he was seen with? Boy, today Friday, Juba, with women and stay on here too long, but I just wanted to come air out these few questions. And if you're watching this video in future, if you have any answers to these questions, and please verify for me whether you heard that video, that interview where Anne-Marie said something about me never take care of Jayden up there, or me never leave Jayden up there, because Jayden have one cousin when I like Jayden.
Well,
Please tell me if she really says so, or if my ears are deceive me, or if I'm mad me or not.
well, to me, if him really said that, then I really need no more evidence, say, boy.
That is what I'm saying.
I them commit the act. I not say them do it,
No, we
But
can't say them do it. We cannot say
yeah,
that. I don't
yeah,
agree with people who say them do it, but they know exactly what happened to Jayden.
yeah. But if him say never take him up there, well, something still not add up.
That is what I'm saying. But as I said, Juba, me go back through me, how on YouTube you can go back through your history and me look all the video them from the start, and I cannot hear that. So I must say my head. Maybe me the hungry. Me just drink soursop juice the night there. Me never hear. Skyblade said the lady is important in the case and the other student, but he may have had a casual conversation with them and maybe want to make themselves known. Yes, because they said the official news said that lady and the students were not identified. So I do agree with that 100%, Skyblade. The next thing again that I found strange is how come, Jamaica, neighbor, no neighbor, this, that, apart from another cousin from Jayden's mother's side, I think she named Shan. How come no neighbor no come? When things happen, people always come out. Yeah, man, it's a quiet people, them very quiet. Every Sunday them go church. Or boy, that little boy not talk to nobody, or that sort of thing. Or that mother, boy, she look out for him, you wouldn't know say her, or you wouldn't know say no for your own child. Or the father no really hang out on road, when him come in at night time and him see him again till him come out, come drive him taxi. Where are the neighbors? How come nobody saying anything? And Shanique is saying, anybody who knows my family know that we're this, we're that, we're that. We're not that type of family. We don't abuse, we don't, maltreat. I don't think she used much abuse. Forgive me. Lord forgive me. I think she said maltreat. We don't maltreat Jayden, whatever. How come no family, no friend, nobody can come out, come say anything? But Stam fam, the neighbors cannot come out because they have their suspicions and do not want to be associated with the situation. But then, Skyblade, these days when you can disguise voice and call one vlogger, or you can call the vlogger and leave a voice note and ask them to change your voice or something. One guy come out, I saw a video this morning before I came on live. Somebody was say, well, him live on the streets and him know what, and him know which car and how them switch license plate already and blah, blah. But I can't go into that because so much hearsay and hearsay can't go to court. My own thing is, where's the mother and the father? Also, Sharon said, Young said, where is the mother and the father? They said he wasn't getting, the aunt said he wasn't getting proper treatment, and that's why they asked the brother. They said the mother has other children, and this is a cousin from their sides, from that side, who say either three more or how much more. I must say 5 children she have, and she's in the habit of giving away her children. Jamaica people give with them children. So they say Jayden wasn't getting proper treatment. He wasn't even going to school. So that's what Anne Marie said, which is the aunt, which is Shanique's mom, the little baby's grandmother. So is her twin brother's child, right? So her twin brother asked her to take the child. She said something else to say again. Because she said, like she said, just, just the other day, which day she go get Jayden birth certificate. How could Jayden do PEP? You can't do PEP without birth certificates. She says she get him immunized or she take out him birth certificate. Like she just say, I just last month or a couple months ago or whatever. And it never add up because you can't. PEP exam isn't when they do PEP exam, not January. You can't do PEP exam without, look from when you can do common entrance from when without birth certificate. So how she say, just the other day, I don't remember exactly the term she used, but the other day would have mean to me like when she get him ready for Manchester High. She get him immunized and she go get out him birth certificate. You can't. Somebody tell me if things change. Because from me come from common entrance days on the system at all, and then GSAT and no PEP. You can't do these exams without birth certificate. So that just never add up to me unless sometimes you use some terms and it come out the wrong way. It sounds different to the hearer, to the listener. Majority of the times, cases go unsolved because of lack of evidence tying the suspect to the case. Remember, you can be guilty, but it has to be proven. So true, and that's the hard part. That's the hard part, because if there's no evidence, a lot of guilty people are walking free because, and I know of cases like those personally, where when it got to court, family members were too scared for their lives to come and testify, for instance, or two, there's no strong evidence to tie the person to the case, as you say, Skyblade. So that's the case, but we continue to pray for our children, because the first week of Jayden being missing, there were 5 cases of missing children. God forbid one of them was the girl where the daddy had unalived. That's the next thing again. Too many of these serial cases. We need to, our criminal justice system needs more psychologists and psychiatrists in it, because a lot of these people who we think they're just, a gunman, RAPIST, a rapist, they're not just that. They have some deep mental issues. They're battling some demons that are causing them to do these things repeatedly. And we have seen so many cases. There was one case in Spanish Town recently. So we need to stop criminalizing people who are demon possessed and have mental issues and start trying to deal with it from that level. But Skyblade said, I believe she said she did it when she got him at 6. She got his birth certificate and immunization then, not recently, based on my memory. Okay, because I was wondering if I was wrong. Because when I heard her say it, she said like the other day. You understand, Skyblade? I think she said like just the other day, me getting birth certificates. But maybe she took it out then. But you understand? Because me getting something, literally, it can mean me getting it out, meaning I process the documents, or it mean me get it in my hand, meaning someone else had it after it came through, but I just took it, or I just got it back, sort of thing. So I don't want to misquote her. But guys, I thank you. More people are coming in, but I've been here. I'm going to leave in 7 minutes. I'm going to close out in 7 minutes because today Friday and I have stuff to do, plus I have rehearsal later. Yes, so any more comments, you can put it in the chat. If anybody else want to come up, I put the link. Let me drop the link here again. If anybody want to come up and share their 2 cents. As I said, you don't have to show your face. We don't need to know who you are. It's just that when you're backstage, in order for StreamYard to add you to the screen, you have to open your camera and your mic first. So that's the link right there. If anybody else want to come up and add their 2 cents. So what Juba is saying is that it's up to us as parents to protect our children. We shouldn't have to leave that part of it to the police. But sometimes, Juba, the enemy is in the home. And we've seen that recently with so many of the cases, and including the schoolgirl
No,
who,
but the end of the day, still, mommy, simple things. Some of we, as parents, I we turn ourselves in our own enemy,
Mhm,
all because of anger. You
mhm,
understand? Because we cannot man over ourselves and look into ourselves and
mhm,
not allow ignorance to take over ourselves. You
mhm.
understand? So sometimes you get up and you are say the enemy in your home. You are your
You're
own
your
enemy
own enemy.
if
That
you
is
can't
so
control
true.
yourself. You
That is
understand?
so true.
Because the end of the day, when I look into this space here and see how everything has turned, the parents is the parents, they are the one that turn themselves into enemy. You
Mhm.
understand?
That's true.
Because on a smaller case, on a case like this, where say is a little boy and him not able to take care of himself or keep up himself esteem then as a little boy. In
Mhm.
a situation like this, I don't think anything should happen to him. You understand? The end of the day, regardless of what happened, because they are kids. You
Yes.
understand? And
Yes.
not because he may be 12 or he may be 13 or 14. He not have a fully control of himself. His mind
Yes.
still young.
Still young. That's true. That's so
Yeah.
true,
So
Cuba.
the end of the day, you must expect say him a go do something when I right. You
Mhm.
understand?
Mhm.
Because we as big people, we do messed up at times. We
Exactly.
do things that which is not right at times.
Yes.
You
Yes.
understand? But for a case, to my opinion, when we look into this and think about this, something just now add up.
Yes, that's true.
Something
That's
just
so
now
true,
add up.
Juba, because based on his age, as you said, this is puberty. And for a young boy at that age, especially given his background with his own parents and the fact that his our aunt and uncle have to take him, then they say he get good treatment in the home. I wouldn't doubt them because I'm not there. You understand? We can't judge, but it's sort of hard for him. But I think that looking
No,
in
but the
at
end of the day,
Jaden's,
looking through this now, we are
mhm,
human and a lot of us we don't use our brain and think.
mhm.
Then if him used to get good treatment, where is he?
But that's the thing. That's why I'm saying no, Judah. Looking at Jaden's picture, I say it over and over on this live stream and everywhere, almost everywhere I comment. This is not no happy boy in this picture. The eyes are a window to the soul. The Bible said, "Let your eyes be single." When you look in this boy eye, all you see is pain, man. Pain and hurt, and this boy going through a lot. But let me read what Skyblade said right here. She said, I need to make a point. There are always telltale signs in foul play cases. They always attack the person's character. Did you realize Demar implied Jayden was mentally ill? Never touch upon that. Shanique said he may be on drugs. And the aunt implied he was following company all after they initially said he was a good boy, then all of a sudden that changed. All right, Skyblade, I don't have to say anything because you said it all. You said it all. All of a sudden, after they say, oh, he was the brightest student, the top pep student from Bethabra Primary. Oh, he joined cadets and he doing well in school and this, that, that. And since he go to Manchester High, all of a sudden, they're implying that this little boy you see on the screen, the aunt say, oh, him go after school. I think either two or three cases she gave of him going to place where him not supposed to go after school. You understand? 12-year-old, them no live in a Mandeville proper metropolitan area. Because since the father after the uncle have to drop him to the taxi stand where I'm going to get, or the roadside where I'm going to get taxi if he go to school. So that means that he lives somewhere good outside of Mandeville. All of a sudden, he might go wherever after school, and the auntie have to warn him. The cousin implies say he might use something, he might take something, and that's all of a sudden, you understand? So how come all of these never come up before? And all of a sudden now,
No,
I
but
must
the end
somebody
of,
come up.
no, but the end of the day, me I go cut you right this. If
Mm-hmm.
you are the family and you realize that him is taking something that is done right for him, and he might take something we done right for him, why you don't sit down with him and question him and try to
What
find
that's the thing.
what
That's the
he's
thing.
taking if you realize and know that he's taking something that is not right for him? We make him
That's
a go out in him right mind.
exactly. That's this thing my viewer is saying right here. He said right here, Juba. How come I just know these things are come up? What were you? What? Why weren't you addressing this all along? If the little boy never got the baby didn't get hurt and Jayden went missing, would the public would any would even what about the guidance counselor at school or we know that these things happen because a lot
Yeah,
of young kids.
we
Yeah.
have to cut you right this one again.
Yes.
We
Yes.
have to cut you right this one again. So the school never come out and say he have any bad behavior or him a behaving in any type
That's
of way.
it. That's why I say, well, how about the guidance counselor? All the school has, and listen, Mr. What's his name? Mr. Gabriel, the principal. All he had to say was good. School just started, on a 2 months now, quite since school started. And even the principal has good things to say, the class teacher. To me, Jayden wasn't happy at home, whatever is going on. I'm not saying he was abused or maltreated, but he wasn't happy. This is not a happy child on this picture. But school was his happy place because he was a bright student, he was helpful, he was caring and loving. He left school on a happy note, the teacher said. School was his happy place. To me, that is. And if he was hanging out after school in places where it shouldn't be, that suggests to me that at 12, you never want to go home. You never want to go home.
No,
Somebody
but
come tell me.
no, but the end of the day, what me I say,
Mhm.
you see if the school no come out with any bad report against him,
Mhm.
something now match up from the family.
Something
I'm
now,
not
then not that.
well I know
Something not adding up.
I'm not judging anyone, but something just now match up from the
Mhm.
family.
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, if him used to go to school, the school is the one should come out and let you know that him have a challenge, either in a reading, either in a seeing, either him asleep, or either him not pay attention, or either him not stay in a
Yes,
class.
yes,
That's
Juba.
that's the way school would have come out come say. But you see from the
Yes.
school not come out come say that something not right.
And then
Because you
again,
can
that
because
is
you
it, Juba.
because
Remember,
you well I don't know because you can't be a good student at school and I get compliment at school and when you go home you're not a good student at school.
that is it. You can be using no, they say he's using stuff and that sort of thing, or hanging with bad company and performing so good at school. It would show, even though it's just 2 months, it would show to the point where even the principal is aware of how good a student you are. How come she stay over there now and know all these things? She no live out here now? She no live out here. She said the last time she saw him was when what? Somebody remind me. The last time she saw it, but it adds up to about 2 years or so ago. Somebody remind me, I don't remember. Somebody please remind me in the chat. The last time she said she saw him. I can't remember. Right? So she don't live out here. So who is telling her all of these things that the boy might be using something or this, that, and the boy might be following bad company and all of that? It just don't add up. But Skyblade's assassination of his character is what makes this family treacherous. I said what I said after they spoke so well of him. That alone says that they are all liars. My dear, you're very on point with that. Anyway, guys, as I say, I'm not here to judge. I don't know none of these people, so I cannot judge them. I don't know a single soul who know them. We're not here to judge, but we're here to judge what has happened or the outcome, the likelihood of what Jayden's demise might be based on the evidence we have, based on we didn't hear it from their neighbors. We didn't hear it from, apart from the school. I don't even recall hearing anything from JCF really, or the soldiers or whoever went to do the search. We have heard from the school, from the principal, Mr. Gabriel. We have heard from a girl named Shan, who is a cousin from the other side of the family, the mother side of the family. So if we haven't heard a single thing from Jayden, there's nothing from Jayden from even before all this. And God, I'm praying that the Lord might bring him back safely so that we can hear his side of the story. So all we're hearing from is from them. So only thing we have to judge is what they had to say. Juba, I'm gonna go down. It's
Yeah,
2:34. Yes.
yeah, that's like, yeah, man. But the thing is, the parents them to more be loving and care and kind to them children,
To the
no matter
children.
the situation and the
Mm.
circumstances and what are happening. You
Yeah.
understand? Don't abuse them to you and
Yeah.
them maybe in a little disagreement or something near them. Be
Mm.
more protective, be more loving. You understand?
Yes, yes. I do agree because with all of what is happening in today's world, I believe that not just in Jamaica, guys. I'm not here to bash Jamaica or any particular country, but our young people are like under some sort of spiritual attack. And when I say spiritual attack, I'm not talking dopey and that sort of thing. I mean, there are some demonic forces from the enemy that is seeking to, you know, to bring our children to a point where we hear of so many suicides, so many young people like those just taking their own lives. We hear of so many kids going missing, just so many things, even at the hand of their own family members sometimes. So we know that this not normal. Things not normal. So I want to thank you all for joining Mommy Simple today. This was a very interesting discussion. I thank you for your participation. For those of you who are new here, you can just hit that subscribe button. I didn't see you in the chat, but I want to thank everyone who commented: Miss Vlogs, Sky Blade, Sharon Young, Juba, Miss Brown, who was here earlier, and anyone else who was in the chat. For those of you who are in the background, I value you so much. I'm not as active as you on YouTube as I used to be, but you can subscribe and go check out my other videos. Let's keep the dialogue going. Let's keep, because unless we express ourselves, that's the only way we can come to, resolutions. I'm a person of resolution as to what is really happening to our young people. And I do pray by God's grace that Jayden will be returned home safely. And if the family knows anything, please just have that little conscience, whether you are guilty or not, but just have that little conscience. I do believe that whatever may happen must have been accidental, unintentional, it's accidental, and if the worst happened and you may be covering up. That is where I look at it. I don't know. But please, in the name of Jesus, I pray that our children might remain safe. Let us cover them under the blood of Jesus. Pray for them every day. For those of you who don't believe in God, I do understand, I do accept, but I know there's a living God. Based on my own experience and based on my daily life, I see God in every simple thing around me. That's why I name my channel Simple Things. So I want to thank you all, Juba. Have a good day. God bless you all. I love you all so much. Thanks for
Yeah,
being
man.
here. Until next time, I don't know when, but let's keep the dialogue going and let's show, as Juba said, love and care for our children. I'm out. Until next time, Mommy Simple love you all, but Jesus loves you more. Goodbye.
Okay, blessing and love to you. Glad
Goodbye.
to see you.
Yes.
Always at mommy Yvette there,
Yes, she always tell me. She always tell me. Okay, bye
Bye.
guys. I'm
Uh,
out.